10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast. For the next 2 hours, we will bring you the latest pro wrestling news, in-depth analysis of all your favorite promotions from across the globe, and much, much more. We will also bring you exclusive interviews with the greatest professional wrestling personalities on the local, national, and international levels. If you want to follow the Wrestle Talk Podcast, check us out online at www.wrestletalkpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And now, it's time for the reigning, defending, undisputed leader in pro wrestling podcast, the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to another great episode of the Wrestle Talk Podcast. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. As you already know, I am the one, the only Hardcore Hoss. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And we have another great show lined up for you tonight, featuring the one and only James Jefferies. You know, he is a very accomplished man, and just can't wait to get into talking with him here in a little while. And my co-host, I'm sure he will be along shortly. But while we are waiting for that, let me go ahead here and start taking care of some housekeeping issues here. As always, we want to thank our great and wonderful sponsors. You know, we got Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Productions. That's the one and only, Perry. We got the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, Interstate 70 Sports Media, Jeremy Carpin. The guy's absolutely killing it over there. We got Little Popeye's Designs, where you get your very own Wrestle Talk Podcast tumbler, just $20, $5 extra for your name. Doomed Outfitters. You have the World Domination Wrestling Alliance, WDWA. We got that great partnership going with them now. You know, on the off Tuesdays of Wrestle Talk, you can see the one and only Evolution, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Be myself and Gavin Jackson over there at Evolution. And don't want to miss that. We are live 8 Eastern. May possibly be starting a little bit earlier. Just watch for announcements on that. And, of course, the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. You know, if you don't know about it, you absolutely should know about it. We're going to talk with the one and only Dewan Mills, CEO, here in a little bit. And, plenty of things to talk about with him. And, as you guys know, we are a fantasy wrestling group over there, and we are the closest thing to real wrestling you can get without actually stepping in a ring. We film promos against each other. We do a lot of smack talking, and we do picks mostly based on the company that starts with a W there. And do role play on our Facebook page, and we just have a really good time with it. If you get to become a champion, you do get a championship belt. I normally love to show off my championship belt. I haven't technically lost my championship belt because I haven't lost it in an FWWC bout. I am still the hardcore champion. However, at the last WDWA show, my title kind of got stolen by the one and only Sam Adams. So, we're working on getting that back. And Sam, watch your back, son, because I want my belt back. But we have a good time over there at the FWWC. So be sure to check us out. And let's see here. Who do we have? We've got plenty of people checking in. Want to be sure to recognize people checking in there. We got David Owen checking in from California. What up, David? Great to see you. We got Ace checking in from Doomed Outfitters. Be sure to check them out, guys, because they are absolutely killer on what they do. And, as he says, rest in peace, Ozzy. So that was a great, great loss to the music world. Just really sad. So we got Bill Jensen checking in. Great to see you. We got Susie Haas checking in there. And so, guys, be sure to comment, shout out, hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling, hashtag WTP. Be sure to use those hashtags. Just comment, share the broadcast. We absolutely thank you for when you do share it. And also, if you would like to be a fan sponsor right now, Susie Haas is our only one. But if you'd like to be a fan sponsor, let us know. We'll work it out with you, and we'll get you in there as a fan sponsor, because we absolutely love our fans. We got Jackson checking in, and how's it going, Jackson? And of course, on Facebook, be sure to send us some stars. We always appreciate that. So, but at this point, I am not here to talk your ear off, guys. I am not here to do this by myself. I couldn't do this by myself. So let me get my co-host in here. As always, he is the young lion with the old soul, the one and only Gabriel Arsin, ladies and gentlemen.
Got to make him wait for it. Nah. Oh, man, Haas. I have had a long day today, so I'm ready to talk wrestling to try and feel a little better. It's mostly just work. But how you been, man? I know I was filling in on the last show, but it's been a while since I've seen you in particular.
Yeah, I know. Last time you weren't able to make it, we had Susie Haas filling in for us there. She did a wonderful job filling in, and thank her for that. And but it's always great to be here with you, Gabe. And how the things been going there? Can't talk now here, stumbling over my teeth, I guess.
They've been good. It's mostly just on the work end, and even then it's excuse me. It's not even like the work itself. It's just like the nuts and bolts that are really being stupid. For those of you that know what I mean. And aside from that, though, this upcoming week, I'm really excited. We never got a word back from them, unfortunately, so I have to pay like everybody else. No, I'm just kidding. We love to support these kind of independent promotions, but we have an event coming up here in Florida, and it just so happened to coincide with my work week because I'm going to be in Daytona. So I believe it's Atomic Legacy Wrestling, and I finally get to see Kenta again. Like that is all I've ever wanted for like the past year and a half. And it's like MLW was doing it. Like, dude, I have a second chance and it's a completely different company. I'm like, so, look forward to seeing some photos. I won't have like press pass credentials or anything, but I don't think they care about me spreading the word. And honestly, I think if I just pull them to the side after the show, if anything, they would love to talk to me. I'd be like, dude, can we please get an interview or something? Like, Wrestle Talk Podcast is here. You got a Florida rep. I'm all about this show. Because they're going to have a lot of people, dude. It's not even just Kenta. It's going to be Nick Nemeth. There's going to be, it's probably been passed up on my thing. Bobby Fish is going to be there again. Shelton Benjamin. That's a big one, definitely.
And of course, sometimes when you go
Matt
to
Cardona.
And when you go to the the independent shows, a lot of times they're a lot more laid back than a lot of your bigger shows. So yeah, I'm sure you'll get a chance to talk to them. You'll get a chance to meet and greet, I'm sure. And so you can chat them up. I'm definitely, I'm positive you'll get that. So shout out to Jimmy Harris. Always great to see you. But Gabe, I've already hit those sponsors, and we love our sponsors, we love our viewers, but something else we love here on the Wrestle Talk podcast is we love our country, and so we can't go without actually recognizing our country, the United States of America. So let's go ahead and cue up that lovely version of the Star Spangled Banner. Brings a tear to your eye or blood to your ears every time. I am sure that somewhere Jeremy Carp is having an aneurysm right now, but it just is what it is. So, nobody can hit that high note the way Roseanne does.
Well, thankfully we got that out of the way.
Well, all right. Well, we done hit that. Those sponsors. We done hit our national anthem. One more thing I do want to throw out there. We made mention about the passing of Ozzy, but at the same time, we do definitely want to throw out our thoughts and prayers to the one and only Buff Bagwell. If you haven't heard, Buff Bagwell actually had to go under surgery where they removed part of his leg. He has now, yeah. He's now lost one of his legs, and so our thoughts and prayers definitely want to go out to him because he absolutely. He was a great superstar, still is. I've had the opportunity to meet him and talk with him. He's really seemed like a good guy. And so just absolutely hate to hear that.
I know Sonny's a big fan of him too. Yeah, so. It's heavy stuff. It's one of those things where we just wish him the best in his future endeavors. I mean, whatever they may be, living life after something like that could be very difficult, but we wish him the best and hope that he has enough people who love him in his life to be able to get him through it, and that he himself will be able to get through it, and had God grant him the strength to be able to, because that's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go ahead and
well, I wanted to ask, since we have an opportunity here, because we wanted to honor Ozzy, and I know it's I know we're the Wrestle Talk podcast, but I think everybody in their right mind knew who Ozzy Osbourne was. So, I mean, we have a 10-bell salute. Did we want to give him one before we move on, Haas, or do you want to just kind of pump the brakes on that and just make our way forward?
We can definitely do that. Actually, didn't he take part in one of the WrestleManias or something, and hasn't he been inducted as one of the stars in the Hall of Fame, like they did with Mr. T and a lot of the others that have been involved in
it? It does say he was a Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one he was in. In fact, I'm pretty sure he did like the music for a Survivor Series, actually. And that was a recent one too. That was 3 years ago.
But yes, in 2021, he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. So, he actually does fall under a part of the wrestling world as well. So, I thought he did, and we can definitely do that. I mean, we've made mention of it already, but we can definitely do a salute there. So,
all right. So, in honor of Ozzy Osbourne and the Wrestle Talk Podcast behalf, we award you the 10 bell salute, sir. All right. Now that we got business out of the way. But
so may he rest
in peace. Yes. I'm glad we got that out of the way though.
He was the first metal concert I ever went to was Ozzy Osbourne concert. But that's a totally different story. But so I guess at this point, let's go ahead and let's hit that high spots music with DJ Money.
Mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk Podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like clear chops. We talk shop, coming through the screens of a laptop and non-stop like a running speakers of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops, like a clock flash, look like a barely flop. Now that's hard. We up to speed while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk Podcast, now they know we about to start the show.
Thank you to DJ Money for that high spots music. Be sure to check him out, ladies and gentlemen. DJ Money is a great person and absolutely kills it on that high spots music. So we want to thank him for that. But all right, let's get into talking some wrestling here and hit that randomizer and see what we got going. Oh, gonna hit it hard right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen. We got the one and only Seth Rollins there. And how does Seth Rollins' newest injury affect the long-term plans for Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed?
You mean Braun Breaker?
Yeah, Braun Breaker. Sorry. I just can never get that breaker in my head when I see the Braun. But yes, Braun Breaker and Big Bronson Reed, how does this affect their long-term plans? Gabe, you want to kick this one off here for us?
I mean, I can try, only because this is very much having to turn chicken shit into chicken salad, and it couldn't have happened at a worse opportunity, because it's like, the impatience of wrestling fans stems from the fact that you get exactly what you wanted or exactly what you expected, and you still complain. So what I mean by that is that everybody got what they wanted, or at least we got a different direction with Seth winning at Mania. And then we have this new faction and he won Money in the Bank. And it's like, it makes you wonder where the story is going to unravel and wind up. And stuff like this puts such a kneecap to the story, both from what's going to happen with the Money in the Bank perspective, and especially on the backs of Braun and Bronson, because those two, I'll be honest, I feel like they were doing a lot of the heavy lifting despite in spite of the fact. So this definitely raises a question, because now have Heyman, and I mean, realistically with Seth, he's such a good talker that they could probably keep him injured for a little bit. Like, I don't know how serious the injury is. I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but it definitely affects the long-term plans for this if they keep him out of the spotlight. Because realistically, as much as we like Bronson and Braun, unfortunately, like Paul Heyman's hype is only going to get them so far. And like, yes, their performance is there. Yes, their promos, or at least Braun has a decent promo game to work with it. But if Seth isn't there at all, then it definitely kneecaps it. Like it puts a hole in the boat, and they're just going to start sinking. So I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm sorry. I mean, this is like a 20-minute answer for like one question, but I think it creates an issue that I think the people involved can make it work. Because depending on how severe Seth's injury is, he might still be able to keep it going. I mean, if he just kind of rolls around on crutches for a little bit and like waits till he's actually recovered, they can incorporate that into the whole Money in the Bank thing. Like maybe if he does recover in time to cash it in, then it's good. And then in their case, if he's still there to be a mouthpiece and not wrestle, he's at least able to hype them up. And at the very least, these dudes deserve like a tag title run or something to keep them relevant. Because other than that, they're going to get lost in the shuffle. And that's a really bad thing. But that's just me. I think it affects it, but I think they can roll with it if they play their cards right.
Yeah, and I caught what you did there, Gabe. I caught that, because here Seth is out with a knee injury and you're kneecapping their performance. I caught that.
It goes over people's head.
But yeah, so and like Susie points out, he does still have a year to cash that in. So will he be out for more than a year?
Exactly. That's the thing. Is this like what happened when Mr. Kennedy got hurt and then they gave the thing away, and then it's like, oh, it turns out he was only going to be injured for 2 months, not 6 months.
But we got somebody here who he does a little bit of booking himself, because he is the resident booker of the FWWC. So he knows about storylines. He knows when things just tend to blow up and, have to change direction or see how to handle something. So I would love to hear his opinions on this. So let's get him in here. He is the one and only, the CEO, Dewan Mills.
So this is different. So Hosh, usually when you send me that link, I got to copy and paste it. But this time it just went directly to the backstage, and this is updated. Like the buttons look different. Do y'all buttons look different?
Yes, they have absolutely updated
a lot of knobs.
Yeah, so I mean, there it is so different. I noticed the other week that they had done this, and it's different. There's some things good, some things not so good, but for the most part, I'm digging their changes. But speaking of changes, Mr. Mills, what are your thoughts on how Seth Rollins' injury is going to affect the long-term plans of Braun and Bronson?
This is the one time, well, not maybe the one time, but one of the few times in professional wrestling that I wish they were bullshitting me. What I wish was, and go with me here, this is the one time that I would literally lose my mind. I don't care if it's whatever match Seth decides to, whatever happens, whether it's the world heavyweight title or the undisputed title, you got the fireworks going off and the guy won, and then all of a sudden, burn it down, and he walks his ass out there and struts out there, and they're like, oh my God, Seth Rollins is here. It's a miracle. Bring back the Messiah. He's been healed. Bow! 1, 2, 3. I fooled all of you. And he got that dumbass laugh. I fooled everybody. But unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. I think that this is really a legitimate injury and, good storytelling. But, yeah, how does it affect Braun and Bronson? That gauntlet match impressed me the week before last week. This past week, should I say. I really thought Braun was going to make that happen. Like, honestly, and they kind of teased it a little bit, Braun and Gunther, which I would have been impressed by. But, now it's going to be Punk and Gunther, which still, I'll answer this question after SummerSlam, and then we'll talk. Because I'm still kind of 50-50. The WWE has been doing this whole pulling the curtain back and, showing what's
Then allow
really...
me to ask, so we can unravel this a little bit. Why are you 50-50 on it?
Because it's entertainment,
and what needs to happen for it to be in your favor after SummerSlam?
It's entertainment. It's entertainment, and you never know. Okay. Not in these days. You never know. You really never know. And I think that's either the best part about it or the worst part about it. Am I sold? Yes. But is it still professional wrestling? Absolutely. And any time that there's an opportunity to tell a story, the WWE is going to do that. So I'm not saying he ain't hurt. I'm not saying it ain't legit. But I ain't saying he is hurt either. Like I said, holler at me after SummerSlam, and then we'll go from there. When the credits come up and there's the backstage interviews, okay, cool. Ain't gonna be no shenanigans. It is what it is.
Normally I would tend to agree with you, but I honestly have to say I believe he is hurt, and I believe that this truly does hurt that whole storyline because, Braun, he's good on his own. He really is. And now Bronson, though, they needed something for him. They really did. And so now they had it figured out, but I think they need a leader. They really do. And I just don't see how this story works without a true leader the way Seth was. So I don't know how they're going to keep this going.
Do you guys think my idea would work? Do you think this would work as effectively if Seth was just on crutches? Like, we know he can't wrestle, but he can still talk. Does that work as well, or does that try it?
It does, but it doesn't. He is a good mouthpiece, but at that point, it becomes, if he's just out there as a mouthpiece, what is Heyman there for?
Exactly.
That's true. Yeah.
Because Heyman is also a good mouthpiece, and that's the point in Heyman, is for him to be the mouthpiece. So it does work because he's a good mouthpiece, but then, like I say, that kind of questions Heyman's part in this.
And a little side note, I guarantee you Roman was not supposed to come back last week.
No.
I
know for a fact this motherfucker wasn't. It's like,
not even close.
With how much they explained his contract was and the reason why he was like tuning out, like they were like, okay, he's going to lose at Mania because we're going to have Rollins take it because clearly Roman isn't sticking around. As soon as they smelled smoke, they were like, fuck, get the emergency money, get this Samoan back in the ring.
TC, get him a shirt. Make him a shirt.
Exactly.
Make him a shirt.
The thing is, though, like I said, they turned chicken shit into chicken salad. Because did you hear that pop? Like, that pop was ridiculous. Like, everybody was ready for Roman. It was crazy.
Just for Roman, just for him to be in a tag match against those two guys. But, good guy for Roman,
And, AJ asked, what about Carmelo Hayes being in Paul Heyman's faction? And there again, I think he could possibly fit in the faction, but I don't necessarily see him as the leader of the faction the way Seth was.
I'm not even gonna front. I forgot Carmelo Hayes was on the roster. No disrespect to the dude as a performer. I just straight up forgot the dude was there. Because what was the last time he wrestled? Like,
Exactly.
But speaking of having to make some swerves and no pun intended, and having to change things around when things blow up, what is going on in the FWWC, Dewan?
Well, Haas, hopefully you have those graphics ready. There have been some major changes as of late, but as we always say, champions adjust. When we got into season 12, and this is why I gotta watch what I say because words have power. I said to myself, this is going to be the best season ever. Why? Because it feels like we're going to start over again. It feels like that things are going to change. It feels like we're just have a bunch of, it's going to be a fresh start. The guys are going to get enough rest. We're going to be refreshed. We're going to have some new people come from the FED. Everybody's going to be working, and it's going to be like a brand new FWWC. Well, damn it, here we are, because it damn near is that. What the hell? Yeah. So not to get into all those details, but in retrospect, what I want to focus on and what we are focusing on right now, besides the changes, besides anything that's happened in the past couple weeks, FWWC Summerstone is right around the corner, over a little bit of a week away. And I am excited because it is like a fresh start. When I tell you guys that putting this card together was more challenging than any other card, and the reason why is this, because I had a limited access to certain superstars, okay? As a booker, you got to make everything flow and go together, but sometimes you got to call an audible. Sometimes you got to punt. Sometimes you got to not be so worried about what you're going to do next, but what you can do right now. So throw that back up here real quick. So going into FWWC Summerstone, our main event, ladies and gentlemen, will be a amazing, I'm thinking it's a TLC match for the FWWC Tag Team titles. The longest reigning tag champs, House of Horrors. I don't know who's going to get these belts off these guys. I don't know what happened. They're going to keep them. But they will be defending their titles against Brothers in Arms. That is our current FWWC World Heavyweight Champion Bishop and his tag partner, Jason Curtis. Both guys are very deserving to be in that match, and they will be competing against House of Horrors. But this next match I want to talk about involves you, Gabe. Like I said, we're starting over. I'm not worried about titles. I'm not worried about number one contenders. I'm not worried about any of that craziness. I want to see who got what it takes here in the FWWC. So that's what I want your mindset to be going into this Proven Grounds Battle Royal. I don't care if you're a 10-year vet. I don't care if you're a 5-year vet. I don't care if you're a 3-year vet. It doesn't matter how long you've been involved in this group. What do you have to prove? What do you got? Why are your promos better? Why is your role play better? Why are you a better character than your opponents? Why? I want to know why. Why do you deserve to be in this group? Why do you deserve to be in this match? This is a Proven Ground Battle Royal. And again, it doesn't matter how long you've been here. Show me what you got. Why do you deserve a title shot? Hell, why do you even deserve to be here? The Proven Ground Battle Royal will involve multiple former champions, multiple guys whose accolades speak for themselves, multiple guys who's been around this business in legit business as wrestlers and also in the fantasy group. Those gentlemen are Ace, you, Gabriel Arsene, El Luchador de Kansas City, Nathaniel Jones, Rage, and Savior Saint. That battle royal right there, folks, will show and prove exactly what those guys got here in the FWC. And like I said, I'm not worried about number one contenderships. I'm not worried about handing out titles. This is fisticuffs. This is straight up. This is heads up. Why the hell you deserve to be here? Why is the FWC passionate to you? And I want to see it in your promos. I want to see it in your action. I want to see it in the build-up. I want to see what the hell you got. Because the champions, Hardcore Hoss, will be watching. Badass American Diva, they'll be watching. All the champions will be looking to see exactly what you guys had to prove. So, Arsene, you're here with us. What are your thoughts on this? Because when we get into this upcoming Monday's match, we're going to blow the roof off the water on this one. But let's talk about this real quick.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack here, realistically, because I'm sure you saw my promo the other day, and that's because I'm very hurt I'm very, very tired, but unfortunately there is no clocking out for Gabriel Arsene. And I don't mean that with the grain of salt, really, guys. I mean that in the sense that I have to pick up the slack where a lot of people have been dropping the ball. And that is what this proving ground match is to me, is an opportunity to reestablish myself in the eyes of everybody in the FWWC. And I say that because for those that didn't catch it, I have a very heavy emphasis on my jacket that I'm wearing right now. And I want to take this opportunity to try and call out some individuals here just because I want them to understand. Guys, just because you got a change of clothing doesn't mean anything if you don't indicate to the audience what that change is. All right. I feel like a lot of people let their character direction, or at least their promo work, or their character be defined by the decisions that they make after the fact. And that's not how it should go. It's very backwards here in the FWWC. And I just want to tell everybody, I'm kind of pulling the curtain back here, but just keep an eye out, because I'm very much trying to lead you guys down a story here tonight when it comes to the FWWC going forward, especially leading into Summerstone. I have to wait for it to finish delivering, but be prepared, because this next vignette that I have, I think you guys will appreciate. I apologize on the end of my editing software, but I want to be the prime example of what's expected here in the FWWC. I want to be the figurehead both in character work and behind the scenes. I want people to understand that there's so much more to wrestling than just the storyline in a script sense, and more of a what the wrestler does to indicate their traits, their characteristics, who they are, and the story they're trying to tell. A lot of this is nonverbal storytelling, and I know this is kind of sounding like a word salad to everybody right now, but the short and long of it is that for me, this is an opportunity, like you said, to set the slate clean. This is a fresh start for the FWWC. This is a fresh start for yours truly. And it's honestly a fresh start for some of the championships that we have to fill in here. I know we're not there yet, but I think this really is a proving ground for the men involved. And just to throw the names out there: Savior Saint, Ace, Nathaniel Jones, Rage, and I believe I'm missing one other, Luchador to Kansas City. Just all I can say, guys, is I want you to bring everything left that you have to bring when it comes to this, because I promise you Arsene is going to be pulling his weight, and I am not picking up anybody's slack anymore. And I think that's to be expected. And trust me when I say I am making sure that I'm reaching that standard, because a lot of you guys have already been putting in the work now. You've been busting your asses, and I want to make sure I'm matching that speed the best that I can and with the best of my ability. But that's neither here nor there.
So let's talk about Monday. Let's bring it in. Before we get to Summerstone, let's talk about Monday. We're going to bring it back, dog. We are bringing it back. The go-home show for FWWC Summerstone this upcoming Monday. We're going to see some teams we ain't seen in a long time. Yeah, we know who Haas Mafia is, one of the most decorative tag teams here in the FWWC. We know who Brothers in Arms is. They are the current tag team champions. We know, maybe the future current tag team champions, the number one contenders for the tag team champions. And we know who House of Horrors is, our current tag team champions. But we bringing it back. Assassin Syndicate, who came here in the FWC some years ago and laid waste to the group. Saint Anger, that is Savior Saint in Rage. You kind of understand it? Rage, Anger, Saint. Those guys are going to be getting together. And back for one night, the Lucha Crew. That is El Luchador de KC and Nathaniel Jones. Kind of a throwback to the old days. Kind of a throwback to the old times here in the FWC. I said we start new, but we got to remember where we came from before we move forward. So this Monday, 6-team tag team turmoil. Every team for themselves, baby. It's going to be on. It's going to be ready. And I am, Assassin Syndicate. We ain't heard about that in a long time, baby. You and Ace, y'all came through here in the gate and ran through it. Haas Mafia, Sis, Hardcore Haas. Speak for themselves. I'm ready to see these teams get down Monday and get ready for Summerstone.
But Dewan, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's worth noting that, you've said these are together for one night only, but they can reunite or in the case of, Saints team, they can unite if they want to. However, they're still going to have to inform you
Yep.
that they want to do that. They still will have to film a totally separate promo,
Yep.
letting everybody know they're doing that.
Yep.
And then before they can be in title contention, it has to be 3 months and 6 matches in 3 months?
That is correct.
So
per our standards and expectations.
Right. So that still has to happen. Just because these guys are being put together and put into this match doesn't mean that they can say, okay, well, yep, see, we're back together and we're a tag team. They have to follow the standards
and expectations.
Yeah, be an official tag team.
That is correct. My bad. I told you I was doing dinner. I'm getting pizza out the oven. But you are correct, Hoss. I told you guys. So I've been involved in pro wrestling for 10 years, but I'm still a daddy.
But I know how some people think around here. I know how some things go. So I just figured, that would be worth throwing out there just to be sure.
You don't have to beat around the bush, Hoss. You can just say Ace. We all know. If anybody's going to make an opportunity out of something, it's Ace. No.
Personally, I was talking about you, but I'm teasing.
Then you know me very well. No.
Hold on, fellas. I'm coming.
So
I'll tell you what, one of these days I'm gonna be an old man and these kids gonna feed me. Shit.
So yeah, but definitely, it looks like there's an awesome card there, and looks like there's some awesome action going on. And actually, there's also going to be some action this Friday night. The Fed will be in action, and I should have loaded that card, but I didn't. But hold on, I got it right here. I can pull it up. Because we do have a few new people in the FED.
Yes, you do.
We have Tamamara. I'm probably butchering that, but she is a newcomer here in the FWWC. Friday night will be her first match.
Let's go.
She'll be facing Yoko Kitsune. Then we have a welcome match where we will see Captain James Maverick. Now, I know some people will say, James Maverick, heard that name before. Yes, the Final Outlaw James Maverick, same as James Butkus, same as, I think he had another name at one point. He is now the Captain James Maverick. So he's going to be returning. We're going to see what he's got. And he will be in action against Robert. And also it'll be a triple threat with Oni. And then if you've been seeing the promos, and I'm sure you've seen them.
Yes, the hell I have.
Ulysses S. Adams will step in with Alexander Ulfson. Now, that's another name I probably butchered, but, those two guys have been going at it back and forth.
Yeah, they both owe each other a receipt for that shit that's been going on.
Yeah, exactly.
They do not like each other.
At all.
So they're, I'm going to put them in a street fight grudge match. But the thing about Friday night, there's also going to be a PLE in August 24th. It's going to be Anarchy Rules. And you'll see those same matches at Anarchy Rules. But Friday night, the person who wins each one of those matches will get to pick their stipulation at Anarchy Rules.
Let's go.
So, that's going to be interesting because, when it comes to that grudge match, that street fight that we've already got, how can they take that even higher than where they are now?
I don't know.
It's going to be something to see.
It's amazing to see those guys go back and forth, man. It's amazing to see everybody every worker, every fan, every person being involved in this industry that we call fantasy wrestling, man. It doesn't get enough
While we
credit.
still have you, are we going to admonish Hardcore Haas for losing that championship while we still have you on the air, CEO?
I mean,
You just had,
I don't listen.
You had to bring that up again, didn't
Listen,
Of course.
Look,
you hassle me for saying Jeremy lightweight, all right? I am absolutely going to hang you losing property of the FWWC.
Listen, but let's not talk. For the benefit of not burning the pizza in the oven, I will talk about it another night, okay? But I do know what's up, all right?
I didn't lose it. I know exactly where it is. I did not lose it.
Yeah.
But you got to get it.
I'm pretty sure it'll be returned.
We're working on that. I have talked to Gavin, and we're working on it. But
yeah, it's nice to get your property back. It's good to do it.
So, but we appreciate your time here with us, and as always, it's great to see you and plenty action. So just keep your eyes open. Check out Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide chapter on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
And we'd love to have you there. So
hell yeah, bring it on, guys. All right, I'm out of here. Have a great night.
Night, Duan. All right. Lots going on. But we still got plenty to talk about. So let's go ahead and hit that randomizer, get another topic in here, and see what we got going on. And our next topic is going to be so we got Trick Williams and JC Jane here. And let's see, what could that question be? Because, there's been a lot of stuff going on. So what are your thoughts on two top TNA champs also being top superstars in the NXT? Not to mention, when it comes to JC Jane, not only is she a top superstar in the NXT, she holds the top women's title in NXT. Then now holds the top women's title in TNA. So we are really starting to see things coming from this whole TNA WWE partnership. And, it's just to see, though, the champions in TNA being NXT. Honestly, I could be off base here, but I think that would upset me a little bit if I was a TNA superstar. I think that would upset me that, wait a minute, you're going to let this person from this other company come over here and have our championship, a championship I've been busting my butt to get at. You're going to give it to them when they don't officially even work for this company? So what do you think of my talent then? To me, that is just kind of a slap in the face. However, it does make things a little more interesting now when it comes to your crossover matches, because it used to always be, they're not going to hang that title on that person because they're not in the company. Well, you can't say that anymore, because we've seen it happen twice now. So it does make things a little more interesting when you're watching the PLEs and when you're seeing these matches take place, because it's not so cut and dry now who is going to win them. But like I say, from the standpoint of your superstars in TNA, I think that would tick me off a little bit if I was them. What do you think about it, Gabe?
See, the fanboy in me is happy, but the wrestling, I don't even want to say it. That sounds so pretentious. I was gonna be like the wrestling aficionado. That sounds so lame. The wrestling nerd in me. Yeah, there you go. That's the perfect word for it. The mark in me understands that it's Yeah, I mean, if I was I can completely understand that perspective. If I was a TNA guy, like especially in Joe Hendry's case, because he was the guy who lost the belt in the first place. He's like, bro, what am I doing? Like, why do I go to work? I'm not gonna have the world title. No, the only thing that I guess I would want to see happen is because personally, I think it's great. I mean, I was not expecting that at all. You know how badly my notifications rang off the hook when she had won the NXT Women's Championship or held the NXT Women's Championship while winning the TNA Women's Championship. It's crazy, you know. And then we have that image, and then that's forever documented, you know, regardless of what happens. And my only thing that I really want to come out of this is that I think it's cool. We need to start seeing the shift in the other direction. And the reason I think we might be getting that is with AJ Styles. And I don't have any honest to God clue how they're going to book it or how it's going to work out or what they even plan on doing as far as having, you know, AJ Styles come back to TNA. I just know that I would really like to see something go in TNA's favor, so to speak. I really don't know how you would do it. If it was me personally, I would either have somebody win the Heritage Cup just because that's a cup and it's not a belt. So I'm pretty sure WWE would be pretty lenient about it. But if you really wanted to go the whole 9 yards, only because I don't think they're going to have Obo lose his title anytime soon, you got to give somebody the NXT North American Championship. And if I had to say, I want the X Division champion to win it. If we're going to have double titles on both ends.
Well, and you know, you mentioned AJ, but he's openly stated that, you know, he plans on retiring by, what is it, age 50, and he's like 49, 48, something like that. So he's only got another year or so left before he plans on retiring, and he's openly stated that. So,
but that's how you make that stuff count, yo. Like, we're better to have AJ Styles wrap it up than the place where he like built it up, you know? I know technically it was the NWA before it became TNA, blah, 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 whatever. No, but I think it would be cool. Am I saying I want like a John Cena level final run with the world title? No. But I absolutely think AJ has plenty left to give, and him going back to his roots would be awesome. I would love to see what happens.
But, you know, somebody that I think I would love to hear their thoughts on this just happens to be backstage here. And, you know, so I want to bring him in because I want to get his thoughts on this and want to see what all he has to say tonight. And that is the one and only Big Daddy P.
Song goes so hard.
Yeah, I can't cut it off before it says hoorah.
I get it. And it's funny, you know, hoorah is actually a Marine statement. One guy in a wrestling audience came to me and said, why are you saying hoorah? And I said, in honor of our Marines. And he said, hoorah! And he went crazy. And he invited like 5 or 6 people to the next show. They love that stuff. How we doing, guys?
All right. How about yourself?
I'm excited.
I can certainly tell you're happy about
the Lord has kept me on ice for quite a while. And then all of a sudden, an opportunity popped up. And when God opens up a door that I've been waiting for a door to open. I have been inhaling and inhaling and inhaling and taking it in and just waiting for the right moment. And see, we had to get a new president. Okay, all this international stuff going on, all the conditions of our world going on. And I mean, it's perfect timing. But in regards to this topic of professional wrestling, which is, it's kind of, professional wrestling reminds me of church. Let me just follow me here for one moment, okay? The ending is predetermined, right? In both of them. I know where I'm going when I'm done. And I know that in every event, whether it's WWE, TNA, GCW, NXT, it doesn't matter. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. And that's one thing in common. Two, there's a good guy and a bad guy, right? I mean, it's crazy. But here we have a situation where we have all of these denominational wrestling promotions. I'm GCW, ACW, ECW, WWE, NXT, AEW, right? All these denominations. You know, if I asked you a very important question, I want both of you to think about what the answer would be. In the whole world, how many churches are there?
One.
That's my guys. You see, most people would say millions. Okay. How much pro wrestling do we have? One. We have one pro wrestling. And in that pro wrestling is a lot of different denominations with a lot of different traditions and a lot of different rules. So if you're seeing what the Lord is doing right now, He's giving you a snippet of truth, how you can take something that's found in the Bible without having to hit someone on the head, but just say, hey, did you know? And all of a sudden they go, I didn't know that. I never thought about that. And then how can they apply that to their life? And I think now of all times, with the condition that our world is in, the uncertainty, which I have no uncertainty. One of two things are going to happen. We're going to finish this with a prayer, or He's going to take me home. Either way, I win. Now, in regards to this high spots question, and how do I feel about TNA and WWE and NXT? Guys, we all eat from the same pie. We do. And so you really have to remember that now that there's so much cohesion, you have more storylines. I'm waiting for Matt Cardona to show up. I am. I mean, John Cena even said, or no, it was Matt Cardona who mentioned John Cena, and then John Cena mentioned Matt Cardona. Guys, they're playing us like a fiddle, and we're going falling for it like we've done for the last 40 years. So they're doing their job, and it's a great time in pro wrestling. It's a great time to be a believer, because right now there are people who we are surrounded by. It's a new generation, guys. Whether you like it or not, you're getting older, okay? I mean, okay, how old are both of you?
27.
27. So 10 years ago, you were 17. And you?
I'm 48.
48. So at 38. Now, go back 10 years. Were you doing the same thing you're doing now? Are you the same person?
No.
No.
Okay. So think about how many people in the last 10 years who were young, who didn't grow up with hope. Just think about it. The last 10 years. If they were 10 years old and they're 20 now, what they witnessed at 10 is not the same as what they're witnessing at 20. So I have a wonderful opportunity to put on a 30-minute podcast to cover a snippet of truth, something that they can grasp, something that they can apply to their life right at that very moment. And so snippets of truth wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the Wrestle Talk podcast. Let me say that. I did not come up with that name. I believe it was either Renee or Joe. One of them came up with the name. So when an opportunity came up for me to do a podcast, there was only one name I could think of. Because what is a snippet anyway? What is a snippet? It's a small piece, right? But yet it also gives you the ability to look within truth. And a lot of people can argue or want to argue about what is truth. I'm not here to argue about that. I didn't create the world. I didn't do any of this. I didn't write the Bible. Where were we 2025 years ago when he died for me? I wasn't here. But while I am here, I'm going to encourage, because there are people who have heard the gospel, who heard the good news, and they accepted it. And now they're living in a world as a Christian. And again, it isn't about what you believe in as much as it's about who do you trust. Because problems are guaranteed, but stress is optional. And I'm having one of the roughest times financially I've had in a very long time. And I've had to remain steady. I'm trying to be more like Jamie, WWJD. What would Jamie do? Jamie handles things incredibly, okay? And usually I'm the one who always has it together. But in times of difficulty for me, God has used her to encourage me during those times. And so I want to do the same thing to anybody who God sends. So I want to thank the Wrestle Talk Podcast for making this possible. The goal is to start at August 1st, Friday. God willing, Friday, August 1st. I'm ready for the first episode already. I'll have 4 episodes finished by the time we do the first one, because I just like to make sure I'm prepared. God loves prepared people. But pro wrestling is awesome. It's a great time. I'm still wondering if Brock is going to come back or not. We got SummerSlam coming up. So excited about that. Again, we have so much we can watch. Now, do we have any more high spots, or is that the only one you had so far?
Because we had a couple. I'm pretty sure, right?
Can we do one more, and then we'll
absolutely.
talk about whatever the Lord has us talk about.
I was going to say we've only been through 2, so yeah.
Good. I'm glad you.
I think you're muted, Haas.
But yeah, we'll hit another high spot, and then after that, we'll go ahead and we'll finish out with the snippets of truth, and we'll get our guest in here who's waiting patiently.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and see what other high spot we get coming up here real quick. Let's see what comes. So we have Adam Page. Is Hangman Adam Page the right person for the AEW World's Championship? Because the other night he did defeat. He did win the World's Championship the other night at the AEW. Was it All In?
Yeah.
And
again, another great entertaining show. You got to love Toni Storm. Always knowing how to get her face into things.
So he
Toni
beat
Storm
John Moxley to get that championship. So
good Lord. Did you guys see? I just want to talk about the pay-per-view real quick, because I'll be honest. I remember it was a couple shows ago that I remember saying I was kind of on the fence with AEW, because I'm like, it's been long enough. You guys, you got the lumps. You got to get them out, bro. You got to get the let out. It's been long enough. You've done this. You're not a new company anymore. So you got to get your shit straight. I really think they've been cleaning up. They've looked at the talent that they have available. They're playing to everybody's strengths, but they're making sure that everybody has their opportunities. And I may be in the minority, but I thought the match with Adam Page was awesome. I may be just the sick cat, but the shot of him getting stabbed with the fork and it's just bleeding out of his head. It was so bad. You can't. Where else do you find that? Weird. Well, I guess I'll just speak for myself. But
which is why they did that. That's why they did that.
It's true,
because you can't see that anywhere else, and they have the luxury and the contract to be able to do that.
Well, you can, but it wouldn't be legal.
He should have been. This is not his first bout, is it?
For who? Page?
Page.
No, I'm pretty sure this is his second time,
okay.
Right?
Yeah, because again, it just seemed like they put him on ice for a while, and then he came back with a new hairstyle, and everything changed from there on. So it's great. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing with MJF though. I mean, I really don't. I understand what they're trying to do. I just don't know if they think it's almost man, I hope he doesn't hear this, because if he does, he'll have a few words for me. I don't want to see him turn into the Miz. Miz is
that is
player.
A very real concern.
I mean, Miz is rich. So, I mean, he's making the money. And he's on a lot of shows doing a lot of things. So, but I can just see, I'm not sure if I can see more of MJF. He kind of reminds me of Rocky in a way. Rocky Balboa. Just has a lot of griff and gruff, but he's so talented and he's so gifted. And, I just think that, I don't know, that's just my opinion, obviously. And you know what opinions are like. So they are what they are. But AEW is doing pretty good. I haven't heard their ratings lately. How are their ratings? Regular TV.
I'm hoping they're going up. But
I
don't know.
honestly
Have they been on the
heard.
upswing?
Well, normally Corny's got it on his, but I haven't seen one in a while that said AEW ratings. So I just didn't know. I wasn't sure.
But yeah, honestly, I think there's better people they could have hung that belt on.
Really? Who do you think would have been a better choice then?
There's plenty of talent there, and not saying that
Name them.
Paige isn't talented. I mean, what about Akita?
Akita? You mean Okada?
Yeah, that's what.
For starters, he's already a champion, and he was feuding with Omega.
Yeah, but he has a low.
Omega's retiring.
Why not the top champion?
Is Omega retiring?
I guess, but that would be weird. And technically speaking, he's a heel, so I don't know why you would have a heel fight.
Can't have championships.
It's not that heels can't have championships; they can't have championships with other heels that are champion.
John Cena can.
When have you? Well, Cena's Cena. All right, I will go into.
He will be a baby before December. I can guarantee you. He will, by the time he gets to December, people will be crying, "I'm John," and then they'll, you should have.
I'm crying now. I'm crying knowing that this man is going to be leaving, and everybody is going to realize how good it was after the fact. That's what
he knows that. And again, it's like Don Morocco. Okay, and I'm not comparing Cena to Don Morocco, but Don Morocco was really underrated, man. He was a really good worker and was tough, The guys back then, Ivan Putski, they were tough. I mean, they were just, and now it's just like Ricochet and not there. There are not too many. I mean, Obafemi is scary to me, but I believe there's more characters that don't scare me than actually ones that do, like Boogeyman, man. Even Boogeyman in 2025 is just as creepy and scary as he was back in the 90s and when he was at his height.
I think that's why I gravitate towards Japanese wrestling, is because they're like as close to it as you can get. Like when I see these dudes chop the living daylights out of each other, I'm just like, I'm not going to mess with this guy. Like when I look at Tomohiro Ishii, I'm like, I might be taller than him, but he would pick his teeth with me. Like he just.
Do you think the girls are showing? Do you think the girls are showing too much?
In general, or in New Japan?
In general, just all the way across the board. It seems like it's getting riskier and riskier because I think they're trying to force themselves back into the Attitude Era. And when you have a president like we do, who is, pretty manly. I mean, he's very manly. So it's just, I'm either getting a sense that it's going to get into this, like, just not so manly versus manly, and I'm just curious what you guys think of that.
I'm torn because I feel like the outfits themselves are about as where they used to be, but I do think a lot of talent is kind of flaunting it, so to speak. Like, is it Vicaire who does the like thrusting thing? I don't know what to call it.
If she doesn't, what are they going to do? If she doesn't do that move, what else does she have to offer? Can anyone help me with that?
You said it, not me, Perry. All right, I'm not dying on that boat.
Well, and to answer that question, aren't we starting to see a lot more wardrobe malfunctions now than we ever have before?
Yes, with answers, by the way. Liv Morgan was ready for the one with the other V. Tyra Valkyria.
Lyra
Valkyria. Yeah. When her time, and then Liv was right there. Liv just so happens to be right there.
I mean,
your attitude era. If you want to know where I think we're gonna I think we're gonna have a new generation, especially when Matt Cardona and TNA get more involved. And again, Joe Hendry kind of brings a which I on this show have to make a public apology to Joe Hendry because he is not it. Why didn't they show those incredible promos he created on the independent scene? If I would have seen that, I would have loved the guy. I know. So
I'm the biggest Joe Hendry mark, and it's why I've advocated on this very show that
but he's not doing that anymore.
Everybody thinks it was just a gimmick and that, he got lucky because his theme song was over. I'm like, no, this dude busted his ass.
No, every show, his opponents, he had theme shows for the opponents, ripping them. And I mean, making fun of them. I was like, I don't know why he doesn't do that now.
Yeah, sorry. I don't believe in Joe Hendry.
How dare you? How dare you?
Do you believe in Orange Cassidy?
I do.
Then you too can believe in Joe Hendry.
Wait, you gotta hit the.
No, I'm not turning around. I'm not.
Can we get a Joe Hendry sound effect on this show? Just.
Oh.
So, all right.
Probably get sued.
Okay. Our guest is backstage, so we want to be respectful of his time. So,
absolutely.
Let's go ahead and let's get back to our snippet of truth for the night.
You have two choices in life. One, to encourage, or two, to discourage. Now, if you're depressed and hurt and angry and upset because you've been hurt, abused, taken advantage of, and you're just telling the whole world to go to hell, it's okay because we've all been there. So my snippet of truth for you is to be encouraged, to not give up. To know that tomorrow is a new day, but it feels like all day is just lasting forever, but it will end. And one of two things are going to happen. You're either going to wake up tomorrow morning or you're not. Now, if you are going to wake up in the morning, here is your choice. What kind of a day are you going to have? That's based upon you, no matter what comes at you, no matter what it is, you always have a choice. So I just want to encourage you to not give up. So many people, my goodness, Ozzy Osbourne today. Sheesh, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Sheesh. I mean, there's a third somewhere. I just don't know who it is. Always comes in threes for some strange reason. But there's a lot of people hurting for a lot of different reasons. And I think you just have a choice. If you want to be an upper or a downer, the choice is yours. But think about how many people you could influence by being an upper versus a downer. Did you know that there's more than 4 gospels? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and you. The Bible says people read you every day. You're a letter written by Christ. The question is, what are they reading? God also calls you an aroma of his. How do you smell? So be an encourager. Bring positive things into the world. But if you're hurting, it's hard to be that way. And I get it and I understand it. So the snippet of truth is all about the reality that stuff does happen. The question is, how do you respond to it? Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your goodness and grace. I thank you for this time that you and you alone have made available. I thank you for the opportunity to encourage anybody who might be listening right now. I thank you for pro wrestling. I pray for those that are injured, that can't do what they love to do, that are sidelined. I pray that you open every door that needs to be opened, close every door that needs to be closed. I thank you for Wrestle Talk. I pray that you would continue to encourage them to raise the show up in such a way, bring them from the north, the south, the east, and the west, because they love to do it. And we give glory and honor to you, and we thank you because you're the one who makes this possible. We love you so much. And I ask these things by the power of the Holy Spirit in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, in whose name I pray. Amen.
Amen, brother.
There you go. So approximately
Big Daddy.
August 1st, Friday, 2 p.m., Snippets of Truth. I'll give you guys a link. We can share it. I encourage you, take a half an hour. I know Friday, 2 o'clock. Now, you might be working. That's okay. Listen while you work. If not, you can come back anytime. Search Facebook for Snippets of Truth. Look for the little happy face.
And Big Daddy, I promise I will get with you and help you get things rolling there. And
yeah, because Snippets of Truth, you know who they're sponsored by? The Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Hey.
So we'll need a commercial, a 30-second commercial, because out of those 30 minutes, I'm going to have a guest. I'm going to have a word of encouragement. And then I'm also going to have an opportunity for commercials to be played. And before the show ends, I'll play the same commercial that I played in the beginning at the end. So I just need a 30-second commercial from you guys that talks about the show, what you do. I think you got this really cool song that is like, it's that rap song you got that I heard last time I was on. So you can use that. This way you don't have to do any more work and there's no pressure. But I appreciate the opportunity. We're going to continue to help and love each other. We're going to continue to make pro wrestling more exciting and more fun just by providing for them a place that they can come to talk about it. That's why I love Wrestle Talk. Because we talk about wrestling. Wrestle Talk wrestling. Hey, look at that.
so, all right. Well, appreciate you, Big
Love you,
Daddy.
Terry.
Always a pleasure to be here with you. So,
Always until
looking
next
forward to
time. I never say goodbye. Because one of two things are going to happen. I'll meet you up there or I'll see you here.
Have a good one, Perry. Love Big Daddy P, man.
All right.
Always glad to have him on the show. Snippets
All
of
right,
truth,
ladies and gentlemen. Well, Gabe, I think it is that time, my friend.
As always.
we have a guest who's sitting backstage, and he has been very patient. And so we want to go ahead and get him on here. He has been in pro wrestling for about 17 years. He's competed for places like Impact Pro Wrestling in Iowa, SICW. He's been in tag teams. He has held championships.
Is currently holding a championship, actually.
Yeah, he is the former Impact Pro Wrestling champion, and he does hold a championship now. He defeated Big Nasty.
SICW Central States Championship.
Yeah, and you see him at SICW as well. He's the Bruiser Brody Cup winner and the Tragos Hall of Fame. So he is the one and only James Jefferies.
Woo! What? Thanks for the introduction, man. I greatly appreciate it. Can you guys hear me?
Did we get everything? You got quite the list there, man. Our buddy Luke sent it. I'm just like, oh boy, this guy's done everything.
Oh man, you guys, you hit everything. I mean, you gave me too much credit, so I appreciate it very much. So been been pretty blessed to be part of a lot of cool things. So I appreciate you listing off all that stuff. So thank you.
Yeah, it's quite the impressive list there. And so it's an honor to have you, and we're so happy to have you here tonight. So, Gabe, I know you're chomping at the bit to start things off here. So,
well, and I want to say thank you for getting us at as short notice as it might have been. I know we had to have Herb contact you. It was a whole thing and a half. I won't get into it on air, but like, thank you very much, man. We appreciate it.
It's all good, man. Thank you guys for having me. It's just, hey, anybody that wants to converse with me about wrestling or whatever, I'm just super appreciative. So thanks. It's an honor to be on your guys' show. So thank you.
So I guess, Haas, if you don't mind, I'll start us off so we can get this interview on the rolling. All right. So James, is it okay if I call you James? I figure.
Absolutely.
It's Mr. Jeffries. No.
No. James is good.
So James, you're a 17-year veteran in the wrestling business. I usually try to avoid some of the more obvious softball questions, but for our fans in the audience, I guess a quick question to start with is, who is James Jeffrey? Or Jeffries, excuse me. It's Jeremy Lightfoot all over again.
So really just James Jeffries is my real name. It's on my license. I'm a small town guy from Riceville, Iowa, and I just was always a wrestling fan. The Von Erichs are my wrestling heroes, and I just always aspired to wrestle like them and hopefully bring the joy and happiness that they brought so many people, down in world class and stuff like that. But James Jeffries is just a big wrestling fan who continues to be a wrestling fan and just happens to wrestle. So,
can we get that on a shirt?
Yeah, for sure.
That works well. That's great though. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get kind of sidetracked. So you mentioned the Von Erichs. At the risk of asking, have you seen the Iron Claw?
Yes, sir. I have.
Big fan of it.
What's that?
I said big fan of it.
Yeah, I was. Just like in all movies, the timeline's not going to be exactly correct. I thought it was very well done. I thought, they did the best they could. My buddy James Beard is in that movie. He's one of the referees, and
Really?
he actually was really close with all the Von Erichs. He worked with all of them: Fritz, Kevin, Carey, Chris, Mike. So it was really cool that he actually lived it and then ends up in a movie all these years later, retelling it and then helping with a lot of the wrestling scenes and different things. But yeah, I was a fan of the movie, and I really enjoyed it. I went and saw it twice, and there's also, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but on HBO, there's a show called Hollywood Tragedies. Are you guys familiar with that?
I'm a little familiar. I need to watch more of it, but did they have a Von Erichs episode?
They did. And that's definitely worth a watch because it gives you more information that was kind of left out of the movie because, you only have a couple hours to get so many things in. And World Class was such a firework show of wrestling that came real quick. And then, when it went away, it was just gone, and I think the remnants of it is still around, and people still look on that time as something great. But there's one on the Von Erichs on HBO, and it's fantastic if you get a chance to watch it.
Well, I definitely think with someone like you, James, the spirit of the Von Erichs and that wrestling definitely carries over. It may be gone, but it's not forgotten. Take it from the young lion with the old soul.
Thank you, man. I hope so. I love it. You know,
You definitely got the hair for it. I'm saying you got the Von Erich locks right now. You're rocking it.
Basically, I tried to steal all the Kerry's stuff. I'm just 5'7" and 200 pounds rather than 6'4" and 275. But I stole the discus punch, the fringe. I patterned my style after him. I always wanted to be like him.
If it's one thing, it's stealing. If it's multiple things, it's a reference. It's it's called doing your research.
I'd say it's more of a reference, but yeah, discus punch and very, very 80s stuff I wear to the ring. So, yeah.
It's definitely a throwback. Now, I got to say, you're currently a reigning champion in SICW. You're very familiar with, a friend of the program here, Herb Simmons.
Yeah.
At the risk of asking, how did you get to meet him and how did you get your start in SICW?
So I met Herb. So this George Tragos Luthez Hall of Fame weekend that we do up here in Iowa for the Dan Gable Museum, that's when I first met Herb. And Herb, like myself, attended the event for many years, and I'd always chat with him and talk to him, hey, how you doing? I had a friendship with him long before I ever went down to work for him. And then he invited me down. I want to say it was like 2016 or 17 was the first time I went down. And, from there, just kept going down there a little more and a little more. And I was welcomed into his locker room with open arms, by some of his guys like Curtis Wilde and Bobby D and Gary Jackson, some names that you guys are very familiar with. But that's how I got introduced to Herb, was up here in Iowa, just going to the Hall of Fame event up here. And we just, had similar interests in wrestling, and him and his wife Mickey always treated me well. So I love going down to that promotion to wrestle for him. Yeah.
Now, I guess I want to bring attention to it just because we had talked about our last guest merch while they were there. I noticed you're wearing a Killer Bees t-shirt.
Yes.
Now, are you is that the actual tag team or is that another Killer Bees that I'm thinking of?
It's the actual tag team. So, and actually, I had Brian Blair's very last match.
Really?
Yep, up here in Iowa for that.
How'd that happen, if you mind me asking? Is he an Iowa native or just?
No, so I met Brian through the Cauliflower Alley Club, and I volunteer a lot for the Wrestling Museum here in Iowa. So we went out to Cauliflower Alley to meet, they're a very similar weekend to ours. We're kind of now a brother and sister organization. But the Cauliflower Alley has helped a lot here in Iowa, and Brian is the president of Cauliflower Alley. So, and at the time I met him, he was still wrestling, and we teamed a couple times for Impact Pro Wrestling. That they do a big wrestling event for the Hall of Fame weekend, and have done it, 15 years in a row other than recently. This is the first year that SICW has done the Hall of Fame weekend. But Brian came in and we teamed a couple times. And then he asked, he said to Troy, he wanted to have his last match. And Troy put me against Brian and, asked Brian if he'd be okay with it. And he said it was cool. And I was so honored that Brian asked me to be in his, or was good with me being in his last match. And yeah, it was in 2019. So
wow, that's actually a while ago now.
Yeah. And actually this shirt that I'm wearing, Brian wore to the ring that night underneath his jacket.
Wow.
So he gave
it's
it to
not
me.
often one gets to be a last opponent for somebody like that. I mean, that's I can't even imagine being some of my favorite wrestlers' last opponents.
Man, and Brian is such a good guy, and he does so much for wrestlers, him in the Cauliflower Alley, that, you know, a lot of these wrestlers, you know, that have fallen on hard times or injuries or different things, you know, ourselves included. You know, my wife she's a wrestler too. She wrestles as Miss Frankie J, and she had ACL surgery and meniscus surgery this last October. And Brian and the Cauliflower Alley helped my family with the surgery. So
for the uninitiated, a meniscus tear, and you said meniscus and what else?
ACL.
ACL, that is a very rough pieces of your leg that should not tear or break. It is not a fun feeling. It's like recovery on that is like what, 3-6 months minimum? Like,
so
not even.
I want to say Nicole did, you know, therapy and doctor's appointments for probably 6 months. She heard it last July, had surgery in October, and then she came back to wrestling in June.
Wow.
So she really pushed herself to get back in the ring. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear the recovery went well, though.
It was good, you know, and like just kind of circling back to Brian, you know, I kind of I don't want to bounce all over the place. Sorry about that. But
2-hour show, man. You're good.
Okay. But yeah, I just got to know Brian through the Cauliflower Alley, and he comes out to the George Tragos Luthez Hall of Fame every year, and we just become friends over that. And I had some tights made in honor, you know, kind of Killer Bees style, but I put fringe down the side in honor of Brian. And
I think we have a photo of that somewhere. Yeah, this way it's in our group chat on Facebook, but I can see it right here, and it's just black and yellow with the fringes on the side.
Yep. And I asked him too. I said, "Hey, can I get your blessing to wear your colors?" And he said, "Oh, I'd be honored." And I mean, the honor's all mine. You know, Brian's resume speaks for himself, and I mean, just what a good guy, what a good team, you know, what a fantastic period in wrestling that he was a part of, and to get to share the spotlight with him was a huge highlight for me.
Now, I was gonna ask Cost, did you have any questions for him at all, or were you good letting me? You know, I didn't want to take up too much of the airtime. I know I can go on for a while.
You know, I definitely have a few questions. I mean, so how overwhelming is it to someone? You know, one place that a lot of everybody's pretty much heard of when it comes to wrestling, and especially out towards Ohio and everything, is the Chase. How overwhelming is it to know that you are a part of the Chase history? You know, because you won the SICW Central States Championship in the Chase. So, you know, to be a part of the Chase history. How overwhelming is that?
Haas, real quick, for the uninitiated, what is the Chase?
Yeah, the Chase, it's a place there in Ohio that's steeped in wrestling history. I mean, there has been wrestling at the Chase for years, and a lot of great wrestling has taken place there. So,
gotcha.
There's actually a book that covers the history of the Chase. So,
the Chase. Okay, I got to do my homework. I got to be the young lion, right?
You know, it's awesome to be a part of the history of St. Louis wrestling. You know, the wrestling at the Chase out of St. Louis, you know, it kind of circles back. The Von Erichs went there all the time. And so many things in wrestling are like dot connectors. I don't know. It seems like my heroes went and wrestled at the Chase. It's some of the best matches there. And to be Central States champion with some of the names that have held this from wrestling in St. Louis, you know, like DJ Peterson and Marty Jannetty and Gary Jackson, you know, you just name so many. I mean, I'm just so above the moon. I mean, the last couple days, I've just been reflecting a lot on what a fantastic life it's been so far. I'm very honored, and I hope to carry the SICW Central States title with respect and honor, and that so many of the guys before me, have. And it's a big, it's a huge feather in my cap. It's a huge honor to have, picked up a victory, especially here in Iowa. I mean, outside of the wrestling at, the St. Louis wrestling area. Like, now I'm excited to go down in August to wrestle down there and prove myself, to the fans down there. So it's, I got a lot to prove. I have a lot to be thankful for. I guess I hope I answered your question, but I just a lot of feelings, a lot of happy emotions come with being champ, and having this opportunity.
So traveling from St. Louis, traveling from Iowa to St. Louis and back, and there's a lot of traveling involved in the wrestling world, and so a lot of times you end up with some absolutely crazy stories and all the travels that you do. Do you have any stories that you can share with us from your travels on the road?
Oh yeah. Man, nothing super crazy as like wild car rides or anything, but just really just getting to spend the time with, like my wife, she's a wrestler, and a lot of the other wrestlers, carpooling in different things. You really get to know one another by going on these long car rides. And I think it's, just the camaraderie is the most enjoyable part, thankfully I've always gotten there safe and everything, no crazy pranks or anything like that. But it's just, it's been awesome to get to know the guys and gals of pro wrestling over the years. Excuse me. So I think just, back to the camaraderie, it's just, it's a fantastic business. And, you could get hurt in a wrestling ring. You could get hurt in the car rides or the plane rides there. And I've just been very happy and very fortunate, knock on wood, to get there safe. So,
yeah. Okay. And you mentioned that your wife is a wrestler as well.
Yeah.
So to be married to someone in the wrestling business and to live with someone in the wrestling business, are there any challenges that arise from being married to somebody in the wrestling business that, what type of challenges are there, and how do you overcome any challenges that may arise from that?
Yeah. Just challenges is just making sure each other are happy and healthy when we're gone, because sometimes we'll go together, sometimes we'll go separate. Just making sure to check in with each other, that you made it safe, the match went well and everything. And then, I have a 3-year-old son named Kerry, who I named after Kerry Von Erich. And there's challenges with that too. Hey, we're both wrestling, finding a babysitter or going to, take him over to my sister, or he spends time with grandma. You definitely always wonder what you're missing when you're gone, like, hey, I miss time with my mom, my sister, my son, so those are ones that come to mind right off the top of my head. Is just, hey, what am I missing going wrestling? Because you get fun stuff at home and you get fun stuff when you go out and to wrestling shows. So, yeah.
So as the SICW Central States champion, what's next? What's next for the champion?
And more specifically, who's next? Is there anybody at the top of your list that you're trying to wrestle now that you're champ?
Well, I mean, I know Glenn Williams has a rematch clause in his contract, and I definitely think we have some unfinished business too. You know, we had a lumberjack match up here in Iowa recently, and so Glenn Williams, you know, I want to get in there with him again. And I think, you know, just the next step is, hey, I got a lot to prove to the fans in the St. Louis area, St. Louis, Illinois, everywhere SICW goes. And I just want to prove to the fans that, you know, that I, you know, can defend this championship. And I want to, you know, I want to represent them is the most important thing. Hey, I want to represent the fans of SICW. So that's, I think that's my biggest obstacle and biggest hurdle to try and get over is, hey, I want to do good for the wrestling fans of SICW.
So not just the belt, but SICW as a whole.
Yeah, I just want to represent that company, you know, and be as good to them as they've been good to me. You know, that's the promotion, the wrestling fans, just as a whole. You know, you got something to prove, you know. I mean, and Glenn Williams is tough. You know, he's no slouch, and I'm sure he'll want to get in there again, and I'll be ready.
Oh, and we actually have a bit of news here. I'm not sure whether it's breaking news but you know, Herb Simmons checking in, and he says rematch will be Saturday, August 2nd in Collinsville, Illinois at the Madison County Firemen's Hall. So
Fantastic.
there you go.
Fantastic.
August 2nd, you get that rematch and that you were just talking about. So, and thank you, Herb, for facilitating this wonderful interview. You know, we really appreciate you and all the support you give to the Wrestle Talk podcast. So,
Thank you, Herb.
You've got that bit there that August 2nd will be that rematch you were just talking about. So, you know, stage is yours. What do you have to say about that rematch coming up?
Well, you know, I'm pumped about it. I'm glad to hear we're getting back in the ring together, you know, because, I mean, it's just Glenn's tough as can be. And, you know, I just want to prove myself again against him. You know, I don't want it to be a fluke or, you know, a lucky pin, what have you. If he wants a rematch, I'll be there, and I just got a lot to prove. So I want to do it against one of the, you know, the roughest, toughest, and the nastiest down there in SICW.
All right. And, you know, we got a few fans who have thrown a couple questions out here, and we always like to give our fans opportunities, you know, and as they throw things out, we like to try to put them up. So we got one from Susie Haas who wants to know, if you weren't a wrestler, what would you be doing?
If I weren't a wrestler, what would I be doing? I went to school to be a school teacher, elementary education. So something in that area, you know.
I got to ask, do you think being a school teacher would be easier or harder than being a wrestler?
Oh, my gosh, way harder. Way harder. I worked a little bit in Head Start, daycare. Goodness. Yeah, I worked 5 years for NICAO, Head Start, and Osage Community Daycare. And it's a lot more difficult, you know, being a teacher than it is a wrestler. No disrespect to any wrestlers out there, but also too, there's some great, you know, great students out there, and great stories, and great, you know, yeah, I think that's what I'd be doing was going back to, you know, working in education somewhat, you know.
And AJ Wallace, who I'm sure you know from SICW,
Yeah.
he put out there, what was the feeling when you defeated Glenn Williams for that Central States Championship? He also asked how long you were going to hold it, but you've already said you're going to hold it for as long as you can. So that part's kind of been answered. But what was the actual feeling when you defeated him?
Like when
It
you heard
was
the
great.
3, what was going through your mind?
1, 2, 3, and the place went, they exploded. And I couldn't believe it. So I was overwhelmed, and I was, you just can't believe you got a victory, because it's a heck of a time holding somebody down their shoulders to the mat for 3 seconds. And that dude's tough, and that in the match, he's doing absolutely everything he can to get a victory. And, but yeah, I was just overwhelmed with a lot of people coming up saying congratulations. And I just hope the folks were as happy as I was, because it was a huge highlight for me. So it was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
All right. So, Gabe, I'm going to throw it back to you here for any more questions that you may have.
I usually keep it on the simple side towards the tail end. So if I could just ask, can we get a good look at that belt? Like, can we get that up on the camera real quick, just so we can see what it looks like? Because it's kind of obstructed by the light, but also that it's looking clean, and I gotta look at it. Like,
as you see, I propped the backside up with the box there, just to help stand it up. Can you guys see it? Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, dude, man,
Well,
I want that belt.
What a good looking wrestling belt.
I'm saying
it's heavy too.
Now I have to ask, do you wear it at all outside of the house or in the house? Like when you're doing stuff? You don't?
I don't. I don't. I showed it to my son, and here's the backside of it too, just in case you.
Clasps. Now they have Velcro. I hate it.
Pretty awesome nameplate. It says, it's got, NWA in the States there, Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri. Pretty cool.
We got a little bit of shade here in the comment section. That belt might be heavier than James is.
Oh, Bill
Jensen.
Yeah, I know Bill. He's a referee. He lives down in Florida now, but he refereed up here in Iowa for years.
Gabe, you
said in my direction so I can learn some referee knowledge. I'm actually down in Florida, so
referee Billy J. He lives down in Pensacola.
Gabe, you said you wanted that belt. I happen to know a man who could probably make a reproduction of that belt for you.
Is it a certain FWWC superstar?
Could be one of our sponsors.
Doomed outfitter of sorts.
But yeah. So, do you have anything else for him, Gabe? Before we,
not really question wise. I just want to take another opportunity to thank you for being on the program, James. It just from talking to you this past couple 45 minutes. I can tell everything that the kind of person you are. And when I think of white meat, baby face, this is as white meat as it gets. And I mean that with all due respect. You are a very genuine, humble guy. You're I call myself an old soul. You're genuinely an old soul. And I mean that with all due respect, because you say the Von Erichs were the people that inspired you, and I can see it. You wear it, and I feel like you carry it. And I got to say you're a class act, and it's a pleasure to have been able to talk to you.
Well, I took it as a compliment, and I appreciate you saying that very much. And I wear the Von Erichs here in my heart all the time. I wish Kerry was here. I wish all of them were here. And that goes for so many of our brothers and sisters that aren't here anymore. And I appreciate the kind words, and guys, keep doing what you're doing as far as talking wrestling and and being wrestling fans, I just, it's a fantastic business, and it's given me so much. I mean, gosh, my wife. What's that?
I was saying it's a lot, it's stewing.
Yeah. My wife and my son are the greatest gifts that I've got out of wrestling. And I've met so many wonderful friends and wonderful people. And I'm just, so thankful to be on your guys' show. And anytime you guys want to have me, I'd love to come chat with you again,
Well, so, please, we would love it. We always love repeat guests here. I love an opportunity to catch up on wrestlers.
Well,
I mean,
Gabriel
I was going to say, question-wise, I'm good. Did you want to lead us in?
Yeah, Gabriel considers himself the young lion with the old soul. And, he thinks when it comes to professional wrestling, nobody has the knowledge that he has.
I know what's what.
That's good, man. And that's like, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
In our meeting earlier, he said that he thought he didn't know if he could beat you in the wrestling ring for your title, but he thought that he could beat you in a trivia challenge.
Oh,
so we have what is known as the world famous Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Would you be up to competing against Gabe?
Yep, I'm in. Let's go.
All right.
Now, if Gabe, I win, do I get the belt?
Huh? No, non-title.
I said, now, if I win, do I get the belt?
No, non-title. Matchmaker.
He knows he'll lose. I'm going to win this.
Yeah. Matchmaker
Herb Simmons. Interim SICW states champion.
Non-title because I'm afraid I'm going to lose. So I got to protect it,
So, Gabe, you done talk the talk. It's time to back it up. And we got a little bit of music here to lead us into this.
Good song.
Welcome to this week's installment of the world-famous Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Tonight's contest is scheduled for the best 2 out of 3 falls and features the Wrestle Talk Podcast's own young lion with the old soul, Gabriel Arsene, versus the brand new SICW Central States champion, James Jefferies. Tonight's game show challenge category is Central States champions. I will give you information on 3 famous professional wrestlers who won the NWA Central States Championship. When you think you know the answer, shout it out. The first person to win 2 out of 3 falls will win tonight's challenge. If the answer's shouted out and it's wrong, continue to shout out answers. You don't just get one shot and that's it. You can continue to shout out until we get the right answer. So, do you understand? Do you have any questions, James?
So as soon as I know it, I just shout it out. Yes?
Yep. Just as soon as you know it, whether I'm done reading the question or not.
Okay.
Gabe, any questions?
Not off the top of my head, no. We're good.
All right. Question number 1. This Professional Wrestling Hall of Famer won the Central States Championship for the first time in 1968. He went on to win the NWA World Championship 8 times, became the WWF King of the Ring.
Harley Race.
Harley Race is correct.
I should have known that.
First fall goes to James Jefferies.
You watch. That'll be the only one I get, Gabe. I bet you that's the only one I'll get.
That's got to be my job now. This is in my court.
Question number 2. In 1977, this professional wrestling Hall of Famer won the NWA Central States Championship twice. Most people know him for his one reign as WWF champion or as his role as the face of G.I. Joe brand.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter is correct. James took 2 falls. So technically, James has already won.
I demand a recount. No.
I do have a
My
third
shoulders
question
were not on
here.
the mat, so
I do have a third question. You want to go through this third question just to see if you can sweep Gabriel Arsene?
Yes.
All right. Gabe, you better be ready for this one. Question number 3. In 1985 and 1986, this well-known tag team wrestler won the NWA Central States on 2 occasions. He went on to win the AWA World Tag Team Championships.
Marty Jannetty.
And Marty Jannetty is correct. Gabriel Arsene has been swept, ladies and gentlemen.
all right.
And was I supposed to shout out before you finish the question?
Yeah,
No,
you can shout out before
That
the
was all
question's
within
done.
the rules. That was good. All right,
Okay,
so I
good.
wouldn't have won the belt either way. See, you
So-
could have had the first defense under your belt, dude. You didn't. You won that easily.
Oh man, I tell you,
What
you
could have
guys
been?
will have to. You guys will have to come up if you're free next year to the Tragos Thez Hall of Fame, because on Thursdays they do a trivia. They do a trivia night, and some of those questions are super difficult, and they always have the very last question is a famous building. This year, it was the Tampa Sportatorium, but that's like I don't know the points. I mean, it gets harder each round. This year we had 18 teams do it. I mean, and we didn't even crack the first. My team didn't even crack the top 10. I mean, it was bananas.
We actually have a little bit of winner's music here for you, just to rub it into Gabe a little bit more.
Sweet.
I'm just gonna hide.
My Freebirds. There's my Jimmy Garvin. I don't know. Jimmy Garvin always had the weirdest strut. It was like this. I don't know.
It's like you couldn't decide what invisible fruit he wanted.
Yeah. Yep.
So, congratulations on that win there. Congratulations on winning that title. And,
Thank you.
it obviously is going over quite well because, Jason Simmons says, that they have a great champion, and
Thank you, Jason. Means a lot to me.
Herb had to make the comment that you are now champion twice in less than a week.
Thank you, Herb. Thank you, Jason.
So
Proud to represent.
But before we let you go, we do have a couple more little questions here for you. One question is, where can all the fans find you on social media? Go ahead and shout out all your social medias and where they can find you next as well.
You can find me on Facebook as James Jefferies. Instagram, James Jefferies. And then Twitter or X. I keep calling it Twitter. I always call it the wrong name. X, I am at the real J Double is my handle on there. And then check out SICW Wrestling and check out Impact Pro Wrestling on YouTube if you are looking for just some fun matches, and not just from myself, but just from so many different wrestlers. There's so many talents in Impact Pro Wrestling and SICW Wrestling And, you know, you guys were talking before we got on here about just the cross promoting of shows. You know, we had up here when SICW came up to Iowa, we had some Impact Pro Wrestling talent on the show as well. You know, AJ Smooth, Bryce Jordan, Matty Starr, various folks that have had so many good matches. I just think there's so many independents out there that have a lot of unsung heroes, you know. So those are the places you can find me. And man, if it's indie wrestling or just wrestling in period, I think the wrestling business is in a great place as far as all the eyeballs that are on top of it now, or that can see it now. I mean, isn't it crazy? You know, just you have the TNA World's Champion on WrestleMania. Who would have guessed?
Still reeling, man. They're
like
like 40 WrestleManias. We got to do it once.
Yeah. Who would have guessed in 2005 watching them on Fox Sports Net for an hour, and you know they under the NWA banner that it would have come to what it's become? But it's given a lot of wrestlers opportunities. You know.
Yeah. You know, it definitely is right now.
Yeah.
Bigger than it has been in a long time. It really is, and it's great to see that. So,
yeah.
And we always love talking wrestling with people, you know, and just love talking wrestling in general. So you do have to promise us. The last question I got for you is, you know, promise us, will you come back?
Absolutely. 100%. You just let me know when you want to have me, and I'll come back.
All right. Gabe, before we let him go, do you have anything else for our guest tonight?
Just want to say I want my rematch when you come back.
You got it. It's in your contract. Your clause, you know. You got a rematch clause.
But
I'm in.
You know, I always have my opportunity to try and, you know, give it up to the people who came to this, because I'm trying to get into this business myself. I feel like with this show, I have an opportunity every time. So when I get a chance to talk to gentlemen like you, to, you know, people who have been in this business longer than me, I always try to take it because, you know, I always have something to learn. You know, I call myself the young lion for a reason, because a young lion's got a lot to learn about the world around him. So I just want to say, James, I can't thank you enough. And, you know, thank you for beating me, because it keeps me humble. So, but I can't wait to see you back on the show again, man. Welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast family.
Thank you for welcoming me, and I appreciate you welcoming me with open arms. And wrestling's been good to me, and I just want to thank my beautiful wife, you know, all the promoters that have booked me. Baron Von Raschke got me into the wrestling business. He was my foot in the door, so everybody needs their foot in the door, and you know, just like you guys, somebody opened the door for me. So it's a good profession, and it's a pretty great life. And it's been good to me. Thank you guys for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. And as he said, you know, welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast family, because, you know, we do consider all of our fans, as well as all the great guests we've had in the past, we do consider them actual part of family, you know, and not just fans or guests. They are Wrestle Talk Podcast family, and we definitely look forward to having you back. Any last words before we let you go?
I got nothing. Just thank you guys. Thank you forever. I appreciate it.
All right, James Jefferies, the SICW state's champion. Gabe, another one in the books there. Another great episode. Another great interview. I tell you, they seem to go too quickly. I tell you.
That I'm saying, but also, like, man, these last couple quiz shows have been nothing but L's for me, dog. I don't remember the last time I got a win. Like, my last 3 I lost, I think. And it's including this one.
You gotta quit your bragging beforehand, man. I tell
I
you.
can't help it if I'm like this, Hoss. All right. It's not an interesting show if I don't brag it up.
So, before we get out of here, though, one thing we definitely got to do is we got to thank not only our great guests that we had tonight and our great fans that have been with us tonight. We got to yeah. Rewind, try again. We have to thank those great, wonderful sponsors that we have, because without the fans and the sponsors, we would not be here tonight. So, Gabe, as I pull them up, do you want to shout them out this time? There we go.
Absolutely. As always, the Wrestle Talk Podcast would like to thank our great sponsors, including Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Productions. That's head by our one and only Big Daddy P. Be sure to check out the Snippets of Truth. All right, 30-minute episodes, guys. It's coming up. The Independent St. Louis Hall of Fame, the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, Interstate 70 Sports Media, Little Popeyes Designs. It's where you can pick up your Wrestle Talk Podcast tumblers. Be sure to get them, guys. Once they're sold out, they're done. And Doomed Outfitters, head by our buddy Ace. Be sure to ask him for any kind of commission needs you need. He can make anything. He's made title belts. He's made custom necklaces, all sorts of. He'll hook you up. World Domination Wrestling World Domination Wrestling Alliance. I apologize. This is like it's taken forever to scroll through. And of course, the FWWC, the world's premier wrestling fantasy group.
All right. Well, it's been another great episode. Thank you to all of them. Remember, thank you to all you guys, whether you're catching us on the replay, whether you're catching us live. We thank each and every one of you, and we appreciate all your support. Be sure to send us stars on Facebook. You can also become a fan sponsor if you like. Hit us up. We can tell you more about it. If you want a Tumblr, hit us up. We can get you hooked up with one of those. And we just thank each and every one of you. And, Gabe, it's been fun. It's been a pleasure. And just look forwards to the next time we get to do it. And, also be sure to check out the Tuesday nights that Wrestle Talk is not here. You can actually catch Elevation with myself and Gavin Jackson right here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, or you can catch us on the WDWA Facebook page, my Facebook page, Gavin's Facebook page, several outlets you can catch us on. So be sure to check us out there. And we just thank each and every one of you for your support. And Sam Adams, I'm coming for my title that you stole. So don't think I forgot about you, and don't get too cozy with my title. I don't care what you say. It is not the whatever Mid-Atlantic Championship you claim it is. It is the FWWC Hardcore Championship, and I will get it back. So, Gabe, any last words?
I hope you get that belt back. He's going to ring hell for you. But no, we're going to catch you on the next one, guys. So, as always, peace out and have a good one, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. So thank you for being here, everybody. For Gabriel Arsene, for the Maestro, Jeremy Karp, for the Night Owl, for Luke Skywalker Roberts, I'm Hardcore Hoss. And for Nightmare Jones and Big Daddy P and CEO Dewan Mills, thank everybody for being here, and we'll catch you on the next one.